Hey there everyone, Joey here again. It's Saturday the 23rd of June. I don't really know that I'm feeling recording a video today. Like I said yesterday, my counseling's done today. So I'm feeling a bit down and I'm trying to prop that up by playing games, and I keep trying to record something and it's just not working. It's just not feeling good and I'm not into it. But I'll record something tomorrow and it should be okay. Usually I take a day off. It sort of sorts itself out. But sorry about that, there's no video today. But you'll get this instead. Let's talk about something positive, I suppose. Let's try and talk about something positive. And games that mean something to me. There aren't that many. But I'd say all of the Donkey Kong Country games on the SNES remind me of my nan, bless her heart. She was a very kind woman, taught me how to be compassionate and how to say sorry and how to take responsibility for what you've done, and that you can admit when you're wrong and it's not such a bad thing. Lessons I need to learn still today, but have at least helped me out. And those games remind me of that time, because she had a SNES in her spare room we used to play all the time when we went over, and that was good times. I enjoyed that. The Donkey Kong Country 2 especially, it's why I play it so often. It's just such a good game. I really do enjoy it. Mario 64 was the first game I ever really remember playing and beating properly. I was probably about 5 or 6, and that game was so good. I think it holds up today, maybe not graphically, but in terms of the level design and things like that, it's just a really nice, well put together game. Similar to Ocarina of Time, I don't know how people can say they don't like it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Outside of the graphics, which I do understand, the actual craftsmanship that went into those games still holds up today. And then there's obviously FF7, which my older brother played, and I saw him play. And when I was about 12 or 13, he gave me the disc, which maybe I was a bit young, but that game taught me how to, that games could be emotional. And although the story's kind of a bit mental and doesn't really make much sense, it taught me, I cried in that game. Playing that game, I, had emotional reactions to things, and it was interesting because I'd never played anything like that before. I'd got angry at games before because I couldn't win, but I'd never felt something else like that. And I think that's why I always enjoyed games. These days, I feel like games have kind of lost that a bit because they do too much showing and not enough sort of imagination things going on. Back to the limitations of old days, you had to fill in the blanks yourself. Now you can have well-crafted stories that are kind of hand-fed to you on a silver plate. Like, here you go, here's all the context you need, here's all the information you need, rather than, oh, you can fill in the blanks yourself and have some nice lore and fill in your own pieces and make your own judgments. And I think when characters didn't speak and you could make the voices for yourself, that helped too. You wouldn't have had a German Steiner in FF9 if they just spoke in a normal American accent in voice acting times. And those sorts of things can spark the imagination of a player, which I think are really interesting and important things that we've kind of lost in more recent times. Not that I guess many gamers care, and if you've been brought up into that world of PS4s and Xbox Ones and PCs, you're not really going to know what I'm talking about. You're going to think the old stuff is antiquated and boring and for old men. And maybe you're right, but retro games will always have a special place in my heart, and that's the games I want to go to when I feel bad and feel down and feel depressed. I go and play old games that just make me smile because they're just good. And that's why when people say, oh, remakes, I hate remakes, they're just old games we made again, I'm like, no, but you can capture the imagination of the audience again. You can give a new audience that same level of wow factor as when I was growing up, and when, in the late 90s when I was 5 or 6, just sort of making new gamers and showing people that it's not all about violence and killing everyone and just destroying and whatever. You can actually tell different stories and have different experiences and just have joy and fun and care about it. That's something that I think is quite important, and that's why games are valuable to me. and that's why I'll always treat them as valuable within certain limits. I'm not going to go and argue about a game with someone. It doesn't matter that much, but they have a lot of value to me, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. And that's why when you have like console fanboys and stuff arguing with each other, I think it's like a manifestation of that love of the thing, love of an old Sony franchise or Xbox franchise or Nintendo franchise, and they hold on to that nostalgia and sort of use it as armor and a weapon to attack people with. And I don't really think that's fair. I think you should be more balanced than that. But that's just me. I ramble a lot. I don't do like video editing and cuts and stuff because I feel like it interrupts the flow when I can talk just fine, if a bit rambly, without cutting. I do say a lot, which gets me in trouble, but that's because my consciousness is just going. It's not me trying to write a script and plan what I'm going to say and think about it. Just say what comes to my head. What games do that for you? That's a question. I don't often ask questions, but that's a question. What games will you always hold on to? Maybe for nostalgia, but maybe for something that made you feel. Let me know. Bye.